we're back for podcast 2.5.5 because we messed up on the other one. It's all my fault. It's died on us. We're gonna have a pre and a post, and now we're just having a post, and we'll talk about the pre, I guess.
Yeah, we'll kind of go over the same thing we went with the pre. So this podcast is with Allie. Allie, up until recently, had never shot a gun, and obviously never hunted. She never shot a gun, and then within the last month or two, she's actually shot her gun for the first time. She shot a gun a total of about 3 times, and then
tell me what, Allie, would you say you've gone full redneck on us?
Yeah.
Have you crossed the line yet?
No, I don't think I'm like fully there, but I'm over here integrated. Headset.
Yeah, we're doing this fresh after work. Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I am 22 years old. I guess I was born in Riverside, California. I moved here to Vegas in 2008 when I was 8. And yeah, that's.
You have an interesting story about moving here. Tell us about that.
Well, my dad used to work constructions in California, and then when the recession hit, they cut a lot of people off. So we moved here to Vegas. But my dad at the time couldn't afford a lot of stuff, so we had to move into my aunt's garage, and it was in the middle of the summer in Vegas.
You had window AC units, right, though?
No.
Negative. Okay.
Negative. All we had was fans, and it was 5 of us living in that one garage. So it was tight. Like, tight.
Yeah, it was a lot
of us there, yeah.
What are you doing right now? What's your life like now?
Well, right now I'm working at this great company called Target Property Solutions. Check it out. 10 recommend. And I'm also going to school. I'm a full-time student at UNLV, pursuing my degree in secondary education and social studies. My main focus for teaching I want to be a world history teacher for sophomores and or a U.S. history teacher for juniors at a high school.
So one of the questions that we kind of touched on last time when we did this and had our audio issues is, tell me a little bit about what your feelings of guns have been in the past.
Well, I didn't grow up around guns or ever shooting one. I had it my closest experience with guns was when I left to college when I was a freshman, and I met this girl who was all like, oh, yeehaw.
Were you living on an Indian tribe reservation?
I did. I couldn't afford the dorms anymore, so I lived on the Native American reservation out in Reno for a little bit with one of my friends. It was tight.
So you shot a little bit up in Reno then?
I shot once overall in my 2 years over there.
So how did you feel about if you were to go into a restaurant or something and somebody had a gun with them? What was that like for you?
Well, seeing them just makes me uneasy just because I'm not used to ever seeing them. I know I have friends that open carry, and I personally feel like a little, uncomfortable. I don't know what other people are going to do because you don't know how other people react to it. I know this person won't do anything, but other people don't know.
What do you think, though? Is that just like a control thing? Like you can't control the gun, or you don't know what that person's going to do? Why do you think why are you scared about that?
I've only ever heard bad things about guns.
Really?
I know they're used for good things, and it's all about, guns don't shoot people, people shoot people, but you don't know what a person's gonna do.
And then you came to work for Ron, and there's guns and hunting stuff everywhere.
How did you feel when you first came to work and you saw the guns going through the office?
So, I was very confused on what the kind of place this was. Because when I first got this job, first of all, I found it on Facebook. That's already sketch.
You guys know the whole story. What did you think this was?
I thought this was a sex trafficking job. Where they lure you in for a job and then you just never leave.
Well,
so I had to make 3 laps around the building to make sure people were actually coming out.
So I know we've talked quite a bit about a bunch of different stuff. I know Ron and I talked last time we recorded this about there's some pretty big political differences between Allie and Ron and I, and she kind of is on a different political plane than us, and she got excited and tell us why you decided that you wanted to go on this first hunt?
To be honest, I personally, I believe I can't criticize something I don't know nothing about. So it's like one of those things like you can't judge until you walk them out of my shoes. So I can't really say like, oh, hunting is the worst thing in the world when I've never done it or I've never experienced it. Or I really don't know like the correct ways you actually guys do things. And all I've ever heard, all my information are one-sided. I've never actually looked at the other side.
You know what? That's so weird to me because you came from a background in Mexico, right? You go down there like once a year or once every other year for a few months.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's a very rural lifestyle where you're at.
Yeah.
Right? And like, it blew my mind when you're like, no, I don't know about hunting. And I was like, don't you guys kill your own goats down there and make delicious tacos?
We don't consider that like hunting. We consider it like farming.
Yeah.
Like we like a farmer will grow its own like cattle and produce its own milk and eggs. So but we use it more like we raise a goat, and we will only use the goat until it no longer can or for a special occasion. Or we sell it.
I think that's kind of one of the things that a little bit of a misnomer because I think the hunters really do kind of consider themselves almost on that same plane as being a farmer, but we're harvesting organic meat, right? And so we're doing it the natural way. So farming originated by just basically taking a natural resource and making it a consumer good, right? So the Indians propagated corn. Well, they didn't make up corn. Corn was already naturally occurring, right? So they just made it better. So what we've done is we've taken these farms and what would normally be an animal out on pasture out in the wild, and they just put 1,000 of them on a pasture. And so that's kind of the way we get our food now. And for hunting, the way I see it is it's about the most organic meat you can get.
Hey, so we didn't introduce Blaine. Blaine, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
I'm Blaine. I helped Allie go hunting pretty much and target shoot also.
Tell you what, Blaine's horrible talking. So Blaine's one of the best guys I know. And so much, in fact, I named one of my kids after him. He is just the calmest, mellow, no stress type of hunter. And so that's why we put him with Allie, because me and Brian, we're a little bit high strung.
Yeah, we like to get it done, and we just when Allie was up getting her antelope, part of the reason Ron and I weren't there is we were with 3 youth up getting their tags filled, and had a couple first timers with us, and we didn't quite make it over to her hunt because we were busy filling those tags. But Ron and I would get a little frustrated because you want the kids to harvest. You want the first time hunters to harvest, and we're pretty aggressive when we hunt. We hunt really hard. Blaine is he's a patient guy, and he was gracious enough to
How'd you like hunting with Blaine?
I think it was cool.
Was it stressful?
No, not with Blaine.
Who was the stressful guy in the car?
Ricardo.
So Allie didn't just go on her first hunt by herself and Blaine. Allie had an entourage, so she had. There were 6 of them,
buddies.
5 or 6 of them total that went hunting.
Yeah, it was 5 of us.
So
tell us about your one friend. Where'd you pick her up at?
Oh yeah, she's so we left at like 1 a.m. but she was still at a party, so she's a little drunk. It's okay though.
So they got up.
They just threw her in the car, Brian.
Yeah, they're about 4.5 hours away.
Is that kidnapping or what?
No, it's not kidnapping. She went willingly. So
I think it's called the DU, but she just didn't know where she was going.
Yeah. So
she's a designated driver, but she's like, wait, we're supposed to go home. Why are we in Ely?
They got up there early in the morning. They drove from Vegas up around Ely and did the hunt up there. And Ron and I were already up there doing our hunt. And tell us about the trip up there and
it was popping.
And the first
tell us
getting on animals and kind of how you harvested your animal. And Blaine, you can step in too if you want.
So normally, like, I'm a very, like, I love to travel, but I get motion sickness, so quick, so I have to be passed out the entire time. But I wasn't on this trip just simply because I had...
Did you get sick?
Huh?
Did you get sick?
No.
Oh, okay, continue. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. I had my Tums.
Okay.
Ricardo was playing music, and I had his brother next to me, one of my best friends, Jessica, she was next to me. I've known her since 2nd grade, so it's like I was very comfortable with her there.
Well, I got a question about the music. Hey,
Oh, they were singing and partying.
But Blaine, was it
and
your
all
kind
that.
of music, Blaine?
No, it wasn't.
no, Blaine. I heard at one point they put on a particular song that has the WAP.
WAP.
WAP, and Blaine said it was a good song. And then what happened?
No, I said that the music sounds good, but I don't listen to lyrics.
You don't like Minaj too much, huh?
It's probably a good thing you didn't listen to the lyrics,
B.
Blaine.
That was
See, look
Cardi
at
B.
But they asked me about the lyrics, and so I started listening to the lyrics. I said, yeah, if you
Swing the little
talk
tickly
about
thing
the words, yeah, they're not the best.
So we get in the car, we get on the road, we get up to your hunting place, and how long did it take you to get on an animal?
Well, when we first got out there, we had just woken up, and we stopped at a gas station, and we stepped outside, and so Jessica's just as new as me, cause she's never like done anything like that. Actually, she shot a gun once, and that was when we went out with
Ron.
to
Yeah,
Ron's,
when we all took you out.
Yeah, we all went out. That was the first time she ever shot a gun. So I think I had one or 2 days, more experience than her. But she was just as shocked as I was. We went outside. It was cold. It was really cold.
It was so we were up there, so for a little reference, Vegas was probably 104, 105 that afternoon, and we were up around Ely, it was in the 20s for a low. So,
How cold was it in your truck when you pulled out? Do you remember?
Probably no more than 38.
It's cold. Then what'd you do?
Well, we went out to 30 minutes into this desert, and then Blaine pulls in to this dirt area, and him and Ricardo were like, oh, there they are, and me and Jessica were like, where? We don't see them, and it's like, oh, there's two little things right there, and the sun's barely rising.
So it's too
And I was
dark
like,
to shoot.
look, y'all can see this right now. I'm not seeing them at all. And they gave me the binoculars. They were like, right there. I couldn't see nothing with binoculars. Either I don't know how to use binoculars, or I was not looking at the right area, because it was not there.
Yeah.
And Jessica couldn't find them either. And the whole trip, Blaine, Ricardo, and Ricardo's brother Van,
Yeah.
they're right there. And me and Jessica would have to focus really hard to find a little white spot that could be them.
it gets easier with time. It's kind of an acquired skill. You don't have it at the beginning, and you kind of develop it. You kind of know where the animals are going to be a little bit, and you look for movement, and it's tough. I mean, it's tough even on the best of days. There's things, Ron would miss some things that I'd catch.
You know what I have the hardest problem? My wife's like, it's right there in the fridge.
Yeah,
And I'm like, no, it's not.
I think we all
No,
do.
it's not. See, the women, or
You had to move the
my
milk,
wife,
right?
man, she can find stuff in the fridge, but she can't see a deer.
Yeah.
Maybe more of a fridge cider.
Maybe I'm a.
Have you seen that meme?
No, I have not.
Oh, we'll put it up in the podcast, the meme.
But yeah, it's not an easy. It's something you get with time, and it develops, and you kind of know what you're looking for and where you're gonna see them. So different animals will be in different spots.
Yeah.
So
Ricardo really had to point me, guide me. All right, here you are. Just look in and you'll see it. Okay.
Shouldn't you have a whole entourage? Tell us about the entourage getting out the
So
truck and
we
get.
like-
Tell us
we
about
like-
the whole misses and everything, how it worked.
So overall, through a whole day, I only took 3 shots. I only actually put trigger 3 times.
But every time you stopped, what happened?
It's I felt like I was in okay, first of all, Blaine would not stop. So the car was still moving, and I literally sat there waiting for him to stop. Me and Jessica were like, all right, Ricardo already hopped out, his brother already hopped out, they're already setting up the tripod, the brother has the gun, me and Jessica were like, it's not stopping. And then Ricardo's just jump out. I said, okay. So we're trying to hop out the car, Blaine's still driving, Jessica's like, do I jump? I was like, we just jump. So it was just okay, so I guess we don't stop. We just keep going. And then, he would set me up. He'd place me. They would load the gun for me. It was a whole setup already done for me. And all I had to do was slide in, aim, and shoot. But the first one, I think, how far away were we on that first one that I shot?
I was probably 150 yards the first time.
And I only shot 100. Like when we went shooting, I only shot up to 100, and I was like, I didn't practice this much. It's like when you get a study guide. It's like this wasn't on the test. That's how I felt. So I aimed and I shot it, and apparently I hit the floor. Like I was too low.
Yeah.
So cause to me I was aiming at the deer, but I guess I wasn't. Ricardo was like, you got it, since you're a bit farther, you have to aim higher. So I was like, okay. But in my head, I was like, if I shoot this and I miss, it's going to run away. It didn't run away. They knew I was a bad shot. It just stood there. So I also didn't know, like, antelopes just stand there. That's like statues. It didn't even flinch. It didn't even look at me. It's just, I shot it and like turned a little bit. I was like, this is not going to get me. And I was right. I didn't get him.
So, Blaine, tell him why you kept on going in the car. Did you ever explain that to him, why you do that?
Well, I thought I did, but it's so that they were looking at me instead of her.
Yeah, so they're following the truck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good move, especially with Antelope.
Yeah, let them track something else other than the person that's actually.
So then Ricardo had us like creep up on it, and like they were really quiet, him and his brother, and me and Jessica couldn't just not. Like we were making crunching noises on the desert, like.
Weren't they like carrying all the material too?
Oh yeah, I didn't carry nothing.
And I want to hunt like that. That'd be kind of nice sometimes.
I think Jessica had the binoculars. I think I was carrying bullets, because I heard that Morgan run out of bullets. So I just stuffed my pockets with a whole bunch of bullets. I didn't even run out of bullets. I only used 3.
Well, that's a good thing. So you're not trying to run out of bullets, that's for sure. I mean, we all like to shoot.
The first one, I think I just shot it just to get it out of the way because I was scared. I was shaking. I was like, I'm gonna throw up.
So tell me, just kind of explain in detail, from the moment you got out of that truck till the moment you pulled the trigger on the first one. Just kind of explain the process you went through and kind of what you were thinking the whole time.
What you're feeling too.
She was shaking and nervous.
I was shaking, I was like, I can't do this. My first shot, I was really shaking. And my car was like, just breathe. He's like, just shoot it, just shoot it, just shoot it. It doesn't matter what happens, just shoot. And I was like, okay. And in my head, I was like, don't be trigger happy, because I know you say if you shoot, you're just gonna jerk it. So I was really trying to focus, and I shot it. And I was like, okay, I got my first shot out of the way, and then we crept up on it. And I was like, okay, maybe this is it. And I really, on that second one really had me really frustrated because I really thought I should have got it.
Yeah.
I really thought I was gonna get that one.
Mm-hmm.
I was so, I got back in that car and I was frustrated. I don't know if you saw how frustrated I was.
Yeah.
And Ricardo was like, it's okay, it's only your second shot, it's fine. And I was like, I should have got it.
Well,
I just felt like I lined it up perfectly. It didn't move. It was sideways for 10 minutes. So
that's the difference between a new hunter and an old hunter. Us old hunters were like, whoa, we hit it. We're surprised if we hit it sometimes.
Sometimes. I mean, and that's the tough part, especially for a new hunter and a new shooter. Even worse. I mean, even though women are traditionally better shooters than men, I mean, you haven't had very many rounds to go down range, and you haven't really. Most of the shooting you've done has been a low caliber rifle, and it's not a hunting rifle. We did a lot of 22 that one day. We all went out and everybody.
She's never hunted small game either.
She never hunted anything, and so you got up on it and you made that second shot, and it's frustrating, and everybody gets that. I think being the nervous part, it's probably was a lot of that adrenaline rush, right?
Yeah.
So when you see it and it's kind of there. Did you have any nervousness and kind of fear of the gun at all when you took that first shot?
No,
that was kind of all gone. It was just kind of the situation.
My biggest mindset was, am I going to be able to aim? I wasn't scared of the gun because I know I can shoot it. I know it's not going to hit me. I know it's not going to, really blurst my ears or anything like that. I know, I'm going for the animal. So it's just, I wasn't scared of the sound or anything like that. It was just me trying to aim.
No, the last one you got, right? And this is the funniest story I've heard. Go ahead and tell it.
Well, before the last one, they were trying to sneak up on a group of antelope, and I stayed in the truck. And I said,
Oh yeah.
"You guys could try, but you're not going to sneak up. There's no gullies or anything. It's just pure flat, and they see you coming up on them, and they tried, but there was no way."
Well, and Ron's managed to make that one work, but he had to crawl through a bunch of cow pies and everything else.
I was in a tall sage. They were down in the flat, like it was all
like this.
They're in.
See, which is surprising because we're normally in the flat or in the low sage up where we were hunting. It was all super tall this year up there, and we were having a tough time spotting.
This was grass and a few brush. Yeah.
So, tell us the story of the last one. This is my.
So we kept seeing the same group that I kept missing. The first 2 shots, it was like 5 of them, and I was like, I gotta at least get one of these. So we're like, oh, we'll pull up on them, we'll run the block, or we'll like go around them and see. We ended up losing them. Well, we went to a different area because we got frustrated with those. We came back, we found them. We tried to creep up on them like over a little hill, and then we lost them. Like they were gone.
Yeah.
And then so we were like, oh, they're heading towards the other road that we saw. So we were gonna go to that road. We ended up finding a pair, a boy and a girl, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We saw those early in the morning.
Yeah, those were the first ones we saw, but I couldn't get visual through
Couldn't
the
get
scope.
on them.
No.
Well, and Allie's tag too was a shorter than ears antelope, so kind of had to limit herself to what she could shoot at too, which I know as a new hunter is probably a little bit intimidating.
Yeah.
Not being able to spot and really see them real well, and which is.
No, but I had Ricardo looking like he was like, go with the left one. It's the left one, and I would have them both in my scope and then focus myself on the left one, because he would tell me which one I'm supposed to.
Ricardo got a little frustrated. Didn't even get out on your last shot.
No,
right?
well, so on the last one we found them and we were trying to get a better angle, and we got out, and I just he felt like I should have just shot it. But I didn't feel like I could have, I didn't want to just shoot. I wanted to shoot when I had a precise, angle, and that I knew I could make it. But he just wanted me to shoot it, and I didn't. And then on the second one, I was just getting frustrated with having to set up the tripod, put the gun up, everything, because I couldn't do it. Ricardo was so frustrated on the last one, he didn't even want to get out anymore.
He made his brother Van get out.
So his brother got out and helped me out. And then I was like, the freaking thing, Antelope, was not
turning broadside.
Turning, to the sideways.
Yeah.
His butt was showing.
All I saw, I was like, all I see is his butt. All I see is white.
Uh-huh.
So, and I kept zigzagging. And I was like, this one knows. This one knows. This one knows I'm after it. And I was like, the 2-4. But I don't know. Then so Blaine got a little bit closer, and then on that one Ricardo got out with me, and let's be honest, he didn't think I was gonna get it. I didn't think I was gonna get it. Van was standing next to me. He was like, I don't know if you're gonna get it. Jessica was waiting, are you gonna get it? So I go, and it kept getting further. And Blaine told Ricardo, oh, don't let her shoot that because it's too far now. I didn't care. I kept aiming. It turned, and I just shot. The moment it just turned, I don't want to say I timed it out, but I knew it was going and then turning back, going and then turning back. So I knew it was coming up. So as soon as I saw it turn, I just shot, pulled the trigger. And the next thing you know, it was embedded in my brain.
So
it just went down.
Tell us, I know it's your first time, and it's tough kind of the first time. Tell us kind of what went through your head after you shot it and you saw it go down.
So I watched it through the scope go down. I feel like to me it was in slow motion. And I just turned and looked at Ricardo's face just light up. I've never seen somebody so excited, so happy of me accomplishing something. And I've accomplished a lot. So I've never seen somebody so excited. He high-fived me. His brother came out. He was they were screaming. They were yelling. Jessica was okay. She was excited because everybody else was excited. And I felt good. I didn't feel bad in that moment because they were all so excited.
Yeah.
And I thought it ran. Because I saw one of them run and they were like, no, that's the boy. Like, the boy ran away. And I was like, then I looked at it and it was like waiting for it to come, to get up. And I was like, oh, it's going to hit me. Oh, it's going to hit me.
We warned you though, didn't we?
But then they were like, oh, like, we got in. And.
They got a video. Let's watch the video real quick.
Oh, after I shot it?
Yeah, after you shot it. The video Jessica took.
Okay.
You want to watch it real quick?
Oh,
Yeah,
look, this is me shooting.
Was that you shooting?
That's me shooting, like, this is me shooting.
I want to see. We'll put it.
We'll put it on the.
Is this a shot actually?
Oh, shoot. No, this is me. This is, I believe, my second shot, maybe.
It's probably a little high on that tripod too, but.
She doesn't jerk at all. Okay, let's see the other video.
So this is after I got it. Oh shoot.
Cause Nate, Ron's doing a First Hunter podcast. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was lucky enough to actually get this antelope with some little horns on it.
First antelope. First hunt, in matter of fact. We came across quite a few today.
You're looking pretty sad in that video, Allie. You can laugh about it now. You're trying to be so cool.
I'm trying to keep my spirits up, but. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
People are gonna say you're mean to you.
I don't know if you hear me right here, like.
Oh, it's such so much excitement in that little bit of time.
Oh, look, your favorite part. I actually did it. Like,
What?
So, I
and
know.
I'm not gonna lie, like literally right after this, I bursted into tears.
Did you?
Yeah.
Blaine gave you a hug though and told you he was okay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good you had Blaine there with you.
And I'll tell you that. So we were lucky enough that we harvested all our youth tags that day, and they were finished hunting, and we were done packing up for the day, and we met everybody. Kind of met at our favorite place in Ely to have a celebratory
Shout out to Rax.
dinner. Shout out to Rax. Allie came in there, and I'll tell you the difference between Allie today and Allie that day is night and day. I mean, you could tell it was bothering her. You could tell it was that it was, and she explained to us kind of the way she felt about it. And I think Ron's been talking to me a little bit since then, and I've talked to you, Allie. But I think probably you're quite a bit better with it today than you were that day.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that day, all I did is keep replaying it in my mind. Like, I just kept picturing it, me shooting, like, the moment I pull the trigger and I watch it go down. Mm-hmm. Like, that's, like, all I kept playing in my mind. And it was, like, I got home, and I couldn't believe I did it. Like, my dad couldn't believe I did it. My mom didn't believe I did it.
So what did your dad tell you before you went on this hunt?
Oh, he's like, you're not gonna be able to do it.
So, and then your mom, what'd she tell you?
She was just gonna be surprised.
What'd she tell you about the meat?
She was kind of curious on trying it, but she didn't want to keep it. And I didn't want to keep it either.
But what did you cook some up from, Blaine? How'd you cook it first off?
Well, I just soaked it in some milk beforehand.
Yeah.
And then fried it up with some spices, and it turned out real well.
Yeah.
Your mom even liked it, yeah?
My mom really liked it. My dad tried it later on that night after he got home from work, and he liked it. My sister, she thought it was good. She just thought it had a weird taste, but my sister's she's turning 17, so she's a lot younger, and she's a little she's from the hood. So that was she didn't want to try it just because she knew that's what I shot.
Yeah.
Me, right before I ate it, I cried.
Kid.
I looked at it and I just cried again because I pictured me killing it again, and then I ate it, and it was cool.
But after your mom tried it, she's like, yeah, I want some of this in the freezer, didn't she? Yeah. So Blaine's gonna help him cut it up and get it into the freezer.
And I think one of the challenges we have with new hunters, especially female hunters, they're a little bit more empathetic. I think emotionally that kind of hit them, especially if they've never had that experience before. And the other thing is, what we see a lot is you have so much adrenaline built up when you go into that situation, and immediately after it's over, you have an adrenaline dump, and a lot of times that'll bring the emotions in even more.
It's kind of like winning a big game or something, you know?
It
like
is.
You see all those basketball players crying. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same adrenaline.
Well, I think
you accomplish something huge.
I think the thought process of going through your head of what you did and the finality of it, if you've never been around that, it can be a little bit difficult, but I think you've handled it really, really well.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to her about something really cool happened to you afterwards too, with one of your past teachers.
Oh yeah.
Super cool.
So one of my teachers from my high school actually posted his hunt, and I had no idea he hunt. I knew he was like really into wilderness, and he goes hiking all the time and everything, and he goes out shooting all the time, and he has like a really good reputation on educating people on a lot of different things that are going on in the world. So and then he showed that he got an antelope.
Shout out what his name is?
Oh yeah, shout out to Brian Driscoll out there from Western High School. But it was just like amazing to me to see that he did it too. So I was like, I felt proud because I was like, oh, I did this too. So I sent him I let him know that I got one too, and I sent him a picture of mine, and he was incredibly surprised that I did that. He was like, what got you into doing, because he's known me since I was 15. Mm-hmm. So like he's watched me, grow as a person. And honestly, let's say this is me and how I am, and this is like hunting, like over there in that space. Like it's the complete opposite of how I am and who I am and like what I'm towards. So he was just completely surprised that I did anything relatively close.
What was one of the first questions he asked you?
Like, what made you do it?
Then he asked you, like, how are you?
Like, how? Yeah, he was like, how are you? How do you feel? And then I let him know, like, I cried a little bit after I shot it. Once I saw him, I was like, oh, it's normal. That's fine. That happens during your first time, and a little bit after. Sometimes you get used to it, but it's rough.
I was explaining to her about the brotherhood. Like once you harvest an animal, why don't you tell her about that?
I think that's a big thing. Is so you're kind of, once you've gone out and you've done the hunting, it's a lot like that in certain things, certain sports. I know rodeo is a big one as well. But you get out there and you become one of them, and then so you have. Forever, you'll have that to be able to share with them. The time you went antelope hunting, and another guy's be like, "Oh, well, I went over here and got an antelope, and here's pictures of my antelope." So I know through work where I work, I'm in the construction industry. It's hunting season. There's pictures being shared every single day of who got what and where you were, and I think it's a big thing because it helps kind of grow the sport a little bit, kind of naturally. And to be honest, we need more females in the sport, and more of the Hispanic population. I mean, it's not as big as we would like it to be. And for every new hunter and every person that buys a hunting and fishing license, it just helps our sport be able to feed itself, right? So we can't do the land management and stuff like that if we don't sell hunting licenses and fishing licenses. And I think being a part of that is a pretty big thing. I think it's a big accomplishment. I think it's as big enough accomplishment. The funny thing is, Blaine last year, he took one of the other people from Ron's office out, and he was a little bit the opposite of Allie. Allie was really patient, took her time, made sure she had a good sight picture. They think she waited a little too long sometimes, and he would have 3 shots off in the matter of 10 seconds and not anything on target. So he physically ran out of ammunition during his hunt. So we're sitting there.
After him and missed them. We're
sitting here at dinner, and it's the boys that Ron and I took hunting, and Allie and her entourage and her posse. So we're all sitting down at dinner, and the subject came up, and I'm like, Morgan's not going to come into work on Monday if you tell him that you got this antelope. So Ron posted it on their group Facebook page from their company, and first thing out of Morgan's mouth is, I'm sick on Monday. So it's a big thing. I mean, I think Morgan's shot a lot. So Morgan's.
Did he have opportunities, Blaine?
Yeah.
No, not with you.
Well, no, I'm talking about just in general before that.
Blaine drives too slow. Does Blaine drive slow?
No.
Everybody drives slow.
I drive slow on
Freaking Blaine hit turbo in his truck, trying to go after these antelope.
Trying to get up on him, yeah.
So I think it's Allie. It's something to be proud of. So since you've had the experience of shooting, have you become more comfortable around guns, just having the opportunity to shoot some?
Yes. I don't feel as nervous.
Okay, and then the other question is, we know it was the taking of the animal was a difficult process, and emotionally it was tough on you. So how do you feel about hunting, and what are your thoughts about going hunting again?
You give us your real opinion too. Don't hide
So I think it's cool. Like I had a lot of fun. I love the trip there. I love the trip back. Like looking for them, hunting them. I might have just zoned out a little bit, like because I was tired. But then, like as soon as there it is, I wake up super excited, and like I thought it was cool. Me shooting at it, I was like, dang, this is cool. As soon as I hit it, it was a whole different story. Like
You still know that process a little bit, yeah.
yeah, I think I love like the process of it. I don't like the.
You don't like the end result.
Yeah, I don't like the end result. That's the only thing I don't
You like the meat,
Yeah,
but you don't like having to harm an animal.
yeah, I don't like. I've thought about it every day since then. So it's kind of like takes me a moment. Like it's not as hard as I was the first day.
Yeah.
Like now I just think like I did it. You know, I did it.
So have you ever killed anything?
No.
And that's part of it. I think it's easier if you come from an environment like my boys grew up. We had chickens and turkeys and pigs and butchering animals for food was a pretty normal thing for them. So it was really second nature to them, right? So
Yeah.
it wasn't the act of watching something pass away, and it's a tough one. I mean, it's you get used to it. The more kind of it happens, and you get to see it, you get to process it, because then it becomes almost. Ron and I spent time in the EMS field, and the funny thing about Ron is we'll take an animal, we'll be butchering it, and we're like, well, this is what's going on. This is how we would fix it.
We'll start assessing traumatic injuries throughout the body.
And we're like, and so we'll be kind of discussing it, but we've seen that end result of something not passing away, and I think it's tough. I think if you had the opportunity to go again, and it was a point where you wanted to go again, and you had another opportunity, it gets easier.
Let me ask you a question though. Do you think you would go again and maybe just go on the hunt and not shoot at the animal? Do you think it'd affect you as much?
No, it wouldn't affect me at all.
No?
Mm-mm.
But you enjoyed the whole process of the hunt, you just didn't enjoy the harvesting.
Like when I saw them like ripping, I felt like they were ripping it apart, but they weren't ripping it apart.
They like coyotes.
I don't think like I watched the whole entire process.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like when I shot the animal, we pulled up to it, I couldn't look away.
Yeah.
Like and like I thought that part was. I think that part, like me seeing it alive and like shaking its head, like no. I think that's what really got to me.
Yeah.
But I couldn't look away. Like I felt like I had to be there holding its head and for it to die.
Yeah.
And then it would have been fine for me.
That was like my wife.
You know, and I think one of the great things about being able to hunt is you can always say that you were able to harvest that food. You know what it takes, right? Mm-hmm. So you go to the grocery store and you buy a package of beef or a package of chicken. You're so disconnected from that. You don't know kind of what people imagine doing that every day for a living. So you get immune to it and numb to it, I'm sure. But you know what that feels like to take an animal and you're thankful for the meat that it gives you and you know, every time we harvest, it's a good thing because it's feeding our families, but it takes a toll on you a little bit.
I know how it's made because when I go to Mexico, like I've seen them get slaughtered and stuff. Like my grandpa's done it. my mom and her, my grandma has done it. Like my family does it. Like that's not the issue. It's just like I guess.
You're not the one that had it. Did you have to kill those animals in New Mexico?
No.
So that's probably
the
the
difference.
Yeah.
It's a big
difference. And then
difference.
my mom's the same way. Like she felt super sad. Like when she saw the picture, she cried a little bit. Yeah. She felt super sad for the animal. Yeah. But it's because me and my mom have been not raised here, but I was raised here and not in that aspect. She was raised there, but she has so much time outside of that concept that she just can't handle that anymore.
She's so distraught. So Brian was talking about his kids. I got a funny story about my kids. One time we used to have all these meat rabbits, right? And they some had names, and their friends come over. And this tells you the difference. Like what you're talking about, kids harvesting animals. They come over with their friends, and they're like, that one's named Fluffy, and that one's named Spot, and they're like, their friends go, well, what are those ones named? They go, we don't name those ones. Those ones are food.
See, and it's funny because my kids have been raised around it, so we've had animals we've butchered their entire lives, and man, they'll name them and then we'll butcher them and have them in the freezer. My kids were notorious. We had a pig that we'd butchered and had it in the freezer, and we still had some store-bought pork in the freezer at the time, and my wife would tell the kids to go get some pork out of the freezer, and my kids would ask the question, well, do you want us to go get store-bought pork or Captain? So they named their pig Captain Underpants. So I think it's different ideas of normal. We would never tell you you're wrong for feeling the way you do.
In fact, you're right.
You're very right. I mean, because it's not a natural thing, right? So we've got so far removed from having to kill animals to feed our families. So that's done for us. It's a remote thing. And so when you push yourself into that environment, especially for the first time, it can be a pretty traumatic experience. And so I understand it's natural, and nobody, we knew it was going to probably hit you pretty hard. But it shows that you're a pretty caring person. I think,
but she's tough too.
She's
man.
tough as nails, man. I mean, she's telling us a story when we tried the pre-podcast the first time, that when she goes and sees her grandpa and he doesn't have. We're lucky in the United States. We even in poverty, we have things that most countries do not have. A lot of countries in the world don't have. Her grandfather, they don't have the running water, so their water that they drink comes from a guy that delivers the water, and then they have a well in the middle of their house that's for everything else. And she would go back and visit that. And it's a pretty awesome thing that you can have so many diverse cultures, and that's kind of Ron and I. That's kind of what we like to do with bringing new hunters into the program and get them exposed to a different environment, get us exposed to their environment a little bit better. Because I think truly, if we can understand each other, and we can spend time with each other outside of the political realm, because I'll tell you, we support completely different political candidates, but I've always said it is 90% of everything we probably agree on. It's that 10% that makes the difference. And so we don't have to hate each other. And I think getting people out together hunting and doing an activity like that, where you have a first time opportunity, we can harvest an animal, get you on an animal and harvest an animal, and then kind of walk you through some of those emotions and help you get through it. And see, I'll tell you right now that the way I feel about it is, and I'm sure Ron feels the same way, I'm sure Blaine feels the same way, that anytime you want to come out with us, whether it's just to ride along in the truck with us or even to go just target practice or whatever,
we're going to spotting.
You're 100%. Yeah, and that's the thing, is those things actually grow through time. And I'll tell you, having a good spotter is a very, very valuable thing.
Oh, absolutely. Let me get a question here. So, just as like a wrap up here, will you? No, the answer could be no. Will you go next year? Do you want to at this point?
It all depends.
Okay.
I
thought it was gonna be a no.
Well, the thing is, like, hunting is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have like the extra splur money to be able to do it, then I think I would.
Yeah.
But if I don't, it's not something I would go out of my way to do it.
Yeah. Blaine, would you take her again as a hunter?
Yeah.
Would you take me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't take
Almost
you.
anybody.
I won't take you
I'd
anywhere
leave you in the
either.
truck.
I take this guy. He's so ugly. People ask us to leave everywhere we go.
That's right. I don't blame him either.
They're like,
If I take you, Ron, that makes you stay a couple of days longer.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you didn't come with me.
I'm glad I didn't go with
You know,
you.
that's the
I would have cried too.
we talk about why it's so important for different people to take new hunters out and give them the opportunity. Ron's personality is even a little bit more aggressive than mine. My hunting style is pretty aggressive. Blaine's a way laid back guy, kind of a really good fit for
New
you,
hunters.
and especially new hunters that are gonna need a little bit of extra.
We might have fit Morgan a little bit better though.
Yeah,
might
we
have
probably
been
would
like-
have because we probably yelled at him.
We have
enough
that
to where
energy.
it's-
We're like, calm down, stop
Yeah.
doing what you're doing. Blaine, don't yell at people, man.
Well, and I
Please
think
let
that's-
them do it.
Ron and I learned a pretty valuable lesson this last weekend with the boys. Is sometimes you just need to slow down and let them kind of have their hunt a little bit and try not to get so frustrated. It's hard. Ron had his
truffle
boy.
shuffle on the road and kicking dirt and
Yeah, Ron had his
man.
boy out and I had my boy out, so we were both ready to kill him. I think by day 2. But you know, it's important to have that, to develop some patience and understand that Ron and I, this is a normal experience for us. Blaine's hunted enough to where it's not a big deal to him. But for the new first time hunters, you got to give them a little bit of leeway and a little bit of elbow
gotta make
room
it
to
fun or they
their-
won't come back.
and let them make their kind of go at their pace. I mean, if you force somebody into something and they're not ready for it, then it's going to end bad for everybody. And I honestly hope, I know as time goes on, every day it'll get a little bit easier to process. But I hope that, you know, you get to the point where you can go back out and try again. And, you know,
Something that I hope with Allie too is that when she gets into the teaching program and she's expressed interest in me that she wants to teach in a low income area, you want to do history, right?
Mm-hmm.
That if she finds a student that she thinks like, hey, this kid would be really positively affected by hunting, she'll reach out to someone like me or Blaine and say, hey, this kid doesn't have the money. You freaking foot the bill for this, and you take this kid out and get him set up like you did for me. You know, and we'll do that. That's like one of my dreams to do that for people.
yeah, and I think that's why Ron really, that's one of our goals a big one of our goals is to take youth that have never had the opportunity to experience and kind of let them see what it's like, get them out and let them shoot a little bit, try to get them on, a lot of times it'll be small game just because draws and all sorts of stuff like that. But the other thing is the same thing with some of our veterans.
Heck no,
Kind of get them
man.
into
Full
that.
send, big game all day long.
Yeah, if they can draw a tag. Allie was extremely blessed because her first year putting in a tag, she
I
draws
don't know
it.
how that happens.
She draws a
Ricardo's
tag.
been putting in all these years and he still can't get one.
So
How do you think it would have affected somebody like in your school, like if that they've never been hunting, if someone like would it be something they'd be even interested in, be like, yeah, I got a bunch of old white guys with guns.
I don't know.
It'd be weird, huh?
Yeah, like if I saw this in high school, I don't think I would. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone. No.
No.
Because it's not something that's like
well,
interesting.
and you
in-
kind of
in our
explained
area.
that to us the first time because I think what you explained to us, if I remember right, is when you first kind of came here and you know, after you realized these guys weren't sex traffickers, that you they kind of started introducing you to a little bit of stuff, right? So
Yeah.
there was a taxidermy shop next door, so there was dead heads up on the wall.
Yeah, that was the first question they asked me. Like we don't want to scare you away, and I was like, oh no, that's fine. Like I don't care.
But
Did you walk over there once when we were skinning a lion?
Yeah.
and so they
My first day at work, they were skinning a lion.
so and they had her try things that she never tried with as far as different big game meats and stuff
What's
like
the rule?
that.
What's the rule in the
If
office?
you don't like you, spit it out.
So he explained to us that kind of after that you kind of changed your point of view just a little bit. You know, the hunters weren't just the crazy guy just going out to kill everything and
Yeah.
just shoot everything and just leaving it to die, and maybe the gun owners weren't just all crazy nuts.
Speaking of that, she said something really interesting. When they were gutting the animal, what were your thoughts?
I just.
You thought you're like, why are they leaving all this stuff?
Oh yeah, like I felt like they left half the animal. I was like, I thought we were gonna pack it all up and let's go. What they left, I felt like they left the intestines. Like we eat intestines. Like they left like a whole bunch of stuff, and I was like, do you guys not do this? I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to open the stomach just so I wanted to see what it ate. Like I was curious.
Grass, that's what it ate.
Like I don't know.
And that's
why I thought it was really cool.
Well,
Because like from her culture.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing is for most American culture, they're not going to eat the intestines, but I know that's a big part of the Mexican culture with menudo and stuff like that. I wonder
how it tasted.
Yeah.
I wonder if it tastes any different. Have you prepared menudo? Like you get all the, how do you do it?
I don't know how you do it, but I think
neither.
my mom knows how to do it. Because sometimes you grow your pig and stuff and do it that way.
But it just goes to show that when we bring those cultures together, there's going to be a little bit of a culture clash, and maybe
they might teach us something.
You know, they might teach you something. I know, some people will never eat a heart, and other people love the heart. So I think it's one of the cool things about doing it that way though is leaving the gut trail and stuff like that, and the intestines and the stomach is. You're going to actually help that environment, right? So first off, you're going to have other animals come in and use that as a food source, and so they're going to be able to eat that night or the next day because of that. And the other thing is, as that stuff breaks down, you're going to also put some nutrients in the soil, and so you're going to have healthier plants. You're going to be able to support more livestock or more
puppy dogs,
more antelope and more mule deer and elk. Did you see any elk up there when you were up there?
No.
You saw some deer though, right?
Yes. So a couple Bambis out there.
Oh, Bambi.
Have you ever been out to where you saw wildlife like that? Just kind of.
Nah.
Golden eagle.
Oh yeah, we saw golden eagle. I never knew what a golden eagle even looked like.
Really?
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
You saw straight up Mr. America out there, huh?
I said, isn't that a bald eagle?
It's a bald eagle.
Oh.
You got the wrong eagle.
What's golden eagle from?
Golden eagle is just it's an eagle. It's a little bit smaller than a bald eagle.
The golden eagle is
Mr. America's cousin.
Eagle.
So, but no, so you got a couple experiences that you'd never experienced before. So you got quite a bit of new stuff, and
Will you edit me out sounding stupid? No, let's leave it on that.
I think that you wouldn't be in the podcast.
But he's hurtful, isn't he?
But I'd like that.
You gotta either be good looking or dumb, you know.
I gotta
be ugly genes.
I gotta give some props out to Blaine because Blaine really did a good job with this, and I appreciate Blaine you taking the time out of your weekend and taking Allie up there and sitting down and talking with us and getting her on some animals and being kind of I think Blaine's kind of a father figure on a thing like that, and I think that's another good thing because it's a little different when your boss comes out with you and you're crying in front of your boss because you just took an animal, but
we cry for each other all the time around here, man. We're emotional.
But I think I think you did a really excellent job, and I'm proud of what you did, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it doesn't put you off to it. And like I said, you're welcome to come hunt with us anytime you want.
Or if you got someone you think might help them, let us know. We'll take them out. That's something we really like doing.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, we good?
I think we're good. We'll be back another podcast pretty quick after we release this one with our youth hunters. We're going to have Wyatt, Cody, and Mitchell in that one. They're going to give us a little talk about two of them. It was their first year, and the third one it's his last youth tag in the state of Nevada. So we'll talk to you guys on the flip side.
Yeah. Thanks.
Peace out, y'all. Peace out.
Thank you.